You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, 13th day of November, 2024. And my 41st anniversary. True story. It was on this day in 1983 that I said I do. And so did she. And here we are. Thanks for joining us today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now the first broadcast, that's our live training room. So that is reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us in about 50 minutes, he'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. There's no credit card required. Don't need your mother's maiden name or any of that stuff. But if you sign up for the trial today, we'll get you indicators indicating today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow, Thursday. And you're doing the math going, hey, wait a minute. It's a 5-day free trial, but I'm only going to get 2 days. Not true. You'll actually end up with 7 days because the weekend doesn't count against you. And there are markets that trade over the weekend. Now, when the live training room ends at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for the afternoon broadcast, this broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways you can join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, I'll give you that first. You only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. It's going to log you right into our platform when you do that. But more important, going forward, every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In that email, there will be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it'll automatically log you into our platform. The benefit there is you'll have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days when you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, you can't join live, but you definitely want to get caught up later. You can do both of those with our YouTube channel, and it's easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network. But all you have to remember is CFRN because you already have the YouTube part memorized. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, simulcasting, if you will, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,600 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. And thanks to the power of YouTube, you can see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Of course, you're not going to watch them all, but just, pick some days at random. Watch a little bit, jump to another day, week, month, year. You get the idea. You will literally see from our humble beginnings to where we are now. YouTube.com/CFRN. Our schedule is on the screen. We start out each day with our daily devotional, a word of prayer, some news, a recap of the alerts, and then about 50 minutes into the broadcast, Michael will join us, give us a recap of everything that happened this morning in the live training room. Then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes. And then I'll wrap things up with our good word for the day. So let's dive into our devotional. The topic we're on, Average Joe. Now we're on day 3 of 7. So on day 1, of course, we talked in depth about who this Average Joe is. And if you missed it, you might, want to go check it out after this broadcast. The Average Joe we're talking about was a high school football coach. And he had a habit of, after every game, he would gather the team midfield and they would pray together. Unfortunately, some politicians, some bureaucrats, and some school officials, they weren't too keen on that. And I'm sure there were some parents that weren't too keen on it as well. But Average Joe stood his ground. There's a book, there's a movie that was just released, and it is the topic of our devotion today and for the next 4 days. Our scripture today is Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 12, and I'll share with you from the Message translation. Trust God from the bottom of your heart. Don't try to figure out everything on your own. Listen for God's voice in everything you do, everywhere you go. He's the one who will keep you on track. Don't assume that you know it all. Run to God, run from evil. Your body will glow with health, your very bones will vibrate with life. Honor God with everything you own. Give Him the first and the best. Your barns will burst, your wine vats will brim over. But don't, dear friend, resent God's discipline. Don't sulk under His loving correction. It's the child He loves that God corrects. A father's delight is behind all this. Again, that was Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 12. A second chance. Joe tried to keep in touch with Denise while he was deployed to the Middle East, but the mental and emotional turmoil of war made it difficult. When he found out that she had married someone else, he was devastated. Joe's response was to marry Denise's cousin, but the marriage wouldn't survive. Joe felt lost and unsure about his future, and the scars of war, both literal and figurative, definitely took a toll on him. After Denise fled her abusive marriage, she and Joe lost contact for a decade. They eventually reunited and rekindled their relationship, and they were thrilled to get married and begin a new life together. But Joe's internal battle with self-worth, plus financial hardships and emotional burdens, brought a lot of challenges to the relationship. Finally, Joe decided to do something he'd never done before: ask for help. He gave his life to Christ, and the couple began to face their challenges with a fresh sense of hope and unity. There's a couple things to reflect on. How can unresolved emotional wounds from the past affect your current relationships? Why is it important for couples to rely on faith during times of struggle? How does surrendering to God change the way we approach personal and relational difficulties? Reflect on those questions, and we'll pick up Joe's story tomorrow. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with hearts full of trust and gratitude. Your word in Proverbs 3 teaches us to trust in you with all our hearts and not rely on our own understanding. We commit our ways to you, acknowledging that you will make our paths straight. Help us to walk in humility, turning away from evil and embracing your guidance that brings healing and refreshment to our souls. May we honor you with our first fruits and find wisdom in your loving discipline, knowing that you correct us as a father does his beloved children. And today we lift up in prayer President-elect Trump and the members of his cabinet. Lord, we ask for your hand of protection over them as they prepare to lead our nation. Grant them wisdom that comes from you alone, and surround them with integrity and discernment. Guard their hearts and minds from any harm, and let them be guided by truth and justice. May they seek unity and serve the people with humility and courage, reflecting your values of peace, compassion, and righteousness. We place our trust in your sovereign power and pray that you would lead our nation toward a path of prosperity and harmony. May your will be done in all things. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen, and happy Wednesday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. I'm going to start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently, the Dow is up 215 points. NASDAQ is up 42. S&P 500 is up 20. The Russell 2000 is up 13. No movers, no shakers, but at least they're all the same color. Now, as futures traders, when it comes to the four major indices, the Dow, the NQ, the S&P, and the Russell, we really don't care if they're all four red or all four green. We just like them to be the same color, because as futures traders, we can be long, short, and long again all in the same hour if that's what the chart in front of us tells us to do. And it's when they're all the same color that we have better follow through on our trades. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up 22 cents, trading 68.34 last. Gold down $15.80, trading 25.90.80 last. Silver down 14 cents, trading 30.61 last. The metals have had a real tough week. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei fell 654 points. That's over 1.5%. The Shanghai gained 17. The Hang Seng dropped 23. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 4, DAX down 30, the CAC down 10. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK, a quiet mixed day. And so far, it is a green Radio Wednesday here in the US of A. So with that, let's go to the news. Jack Teixeira, and I don't think I pronounced that right, a former Massachusetts Air National Guard member who was arrested last year for leaking classified U.S. military documents, was sentenced yesterday to 15 years in prison. The incident is considered the most extensive intelligence breach in at least a decade. The sentence comes after Jack, who turns 23 next month, pleaded guilty in March to 6 federal counts of willfully retaining and transmitting national defense information. In exchange for his plea, official spared Jack from being charged with additional counts under the Espionage Act. He was an information technology specialist who gained top secret security clearance in 2021, 2 years after enlisting in the Air National Guard. Outside of work, he had been uploading a wide range of classified information, including information about the war in Ukraine, to users on a Discord server. The defense claimed that Jack didn't mean to harm the U.S. and was instead keeping his friends apprised of world events. Well, that dog didn't hunt, did it? Federal regulators announced oil and gas companies will be required for the first time to pay a fee for excess methane emissions, a rule likely to be overturned once the Trump administration takes office in January. The move stems from the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act's initiatives supporting clean energy. At least, I know we talked about this the other day, but these billionaires flying around in their private jets, a 2-hour flight creates more of this toxic emission than most normal people will create in their entire lifetime. China, at least 35 people, this is very sad, were killed and dozens injured after a man drove his small SUV into a crowd exercising at a sports complex in Zhuhai, southern China. The 62-year-old suspect, surnamed Fan, was reportedly distraught over how property was divided in a divorce settlement when he carried out the attack. While China generally experiences low rates of violent crime due to its strict gun control laws, the country has seen a recent surge in attacks on civilians, including a fatal stabbing at a shopping center in September and an attack on U.S. instructors in June. Now let's look at the market news, and then we'll get to the charts. New inflation data out this morning showed consumer prices rose as forecast in October, keeping the Federal Reserve on track to lower interest rates again in December. The latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed that the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, increased 2.6% over the prior year in October, a slight uptick from September's 2.4% annual gain in prices. The yearly increase matched economists' expectations. U.S. stocks were mixed in early trading today as investors weighed the fresh consumer inflation data that looks to keep the Federal Reserve on pace for another rate cut next month. The Dow rose about 0.1%, coming off a steep slide after stocks closed lower across the board. Both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq fell into the red after initially rising earlier in the session, but now, as we just discussed, they're back in the green. Housing inflation. The latest CPI numbers showed that housing costs accelerated in October, posing a lingering challenge to the Federal Reserve's inflation fight. Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed shelter cost, the largest component of CPI, ticked up 0.4% compared to the previous month in October. This was higher than September's 0.2% increase and accounted for over half of October's overall monthly increase. On an annual basis, shelter costs, that's your house or your apartment, rose 4.9% in October, matching September's year-over-year gain of exactly 4.9%. And I'm not saying that anybody's painting the tape, but they might be. Donald Trump's election victory has catapulted U.S. stocks to fresh records and pushed the dollar to a 2-year high. That's anything but good news for the rest of the world. This is from Bloomberg. Equities, excluding the U.S., are tumbling, with an MSCI gauge at its lowest in 3 months. An index of developing market currencies has lost more than 1% following the U.S. election, coming close to erasing this year's gains. European stocks and the euro have flopped. Amazon. Now, I talked to you guys, I know, a week or so ago about Temu. It's T-E-M-U. So, they're really taking a bite out of Amazon. And I gotta say, they have some of the most clever marketing I've ever seen. Clever to the point of it's irritating. But anyway, Amazon has launched a low-cost e-commerce service called Amazon Haul, that's Haul, for some customers in the United States, giving them a selection of products at $20 or less. The online retailer said on Wednesday as it looks to take on Chinese firms Shine and Temu. In August, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said average selling prices were falling as customers were trading down to cheaper items and buying more essential goods. The company said that the majority of products will be priced $10 or under, with some costing as little as $1. The new low-cost service will be available within its app, and users could search for Haul, Haul, the company said, adding that it will be available for customers when they update their Amazon shopping app next, which should be pretty soon. Not good news for Boeing. According to Reuters, Boeing said today it's issuing layoff notices starting this week to workers impacted by a broader plan by the heavily indebted plane maker to cut 17,000 jobs, or 10% of its global workforce. U.S. staff receiving the notices this week will stay on Boeing's payroll until January to comply with federal requirements that give workers 60 days notice prior to ending their employment. News that Boeing would send out the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification, also known as WARN, W-A-R-N, in mid-November was widely expected. Now, this is some clever chicanery, okay? So these people, even though they know they're losing their jobs, it's not going to show up in the numbers, the unemployment numbers, jobs created, all those numbers. They're pushing it forward. Now, it says it's part of a federal act that I personally have never heard of, but I guess it's a real thing. I never had anybody, well, have you ever had anybody give you a 60-day notice that you're going to be fired? So what does this do? It means that when we get the employment numbers in January, as President Trump's taking office, that's when these 17,000 jobs are going to show up. 17,000 lost jobs. That's okay. Trump will figure it out. And because Elon and the other guy that's helping him with this project, they're getting ready to fire a whole lot of federal employees. I mean, Elon did it when he bought Twitter. He fired like, I don't know, half the employees or more. He said there's just so much redundancy. He goes, this is a pretty simple thing. It practically runs itself. We don't need all these people. And he showed them the door. And he's getting ready to do that with the federal government. Household debt in the U.S. climbed to a fresh high last quarter, with rising incomes leaving many consumers able to manage the burden, but lower income groups are showing signs of financial strain. Higher debt levels for mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, and student loans last quarter drove overall consumer debt to a new record of $17.9 trillion, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Households in the aggregate saw incomes rise more than their debt, but younger consumers and lower earners faced more strain, according to the Fed. For the 10th consecutive quarter, more homeowners borrowed against the equity in their homes as home equity lines of credit rose to $387 billion. Credit card balances increased by $24 billion to to 1.17 trillion, as a record 600 million accounts are now open. Auto loan balances rose 18 billion to 1.64 trillion. Further, student loan balances grew by $21 billion to a record 1.61 trillion. When I got my first car, I saved up my money. I started working at 14. I went to school 8 hours a day, worked 40 hours. I worked at night in a fast food place. And I saved my money, and the day I turned 16. Now, obviously it wasn't a new car. It had quite a few miles on it, but it was solid. And I already had my insurance paid. The tank was full of gas. And I remember waking my mother up that morning, the day I turned 16, and I'm like, Mom, get up, get up. She's like, what? I go, gotta go get my driver's license. She goes, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. They don't even open until 9. I go, yeah, I know, but we want to be at the head of the line. Seems like those days are gone, or lost maybe on this new generation, X, Z, whatever they are. I don't know. The idea of working hard and saving your money, it's like a lost art. Everybody just goes the debt route. But they're following our government. If that's their role model, well, you know how many trillion, what is it? We're now $35 trillion in debt as a nation. Not good. Not good at all. Okay, let's bring it home. Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. We're in week 328, and over the last 328 weeks, we've issued over 18,300 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, you might be wondering why the most recent recap is last night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's because yesterday afternoon I started to not feel so good. I got the CTAs out right at the open, but then I just had to go lay down. And as I'm sitting there not feeling, or laying there not feeling good, all of a sudden a pipe burst under our sink in the kitchen. So now I got to get out of my sick bed and go try to mop up the mess. Anywho, that's why there wasn't an early morning update, because everything that was waiting is still waiting. Now, I did put out a lot of alerts this morning prior to the open. So this afternoon, Valerie will redo the recap and these numbers will change. But at the time she did the recap last night, since the markets opened this past Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued 40 alerts so far this week. 2 never triggered. Still waiting on the outcome of 11, plus the ones I issued this morning now. So at the time of the recap, we had 27 actionable alerts, of which 3 or 8% would have been stopped out based on market structure and that very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, the logic alerts, they have an entry price, they have an initial target, quite often additional targets, and a final trade to target. Yes, you can trade them, but that's not really the purpose. The purpose of the logic alerts is to help you learn how to read a chart and find windows of opportunity in the market. You should be able, after you've been with us a couple months, you should be able to look at any chart of any market in any time frame and instinctively know what the next high probability move is. Now, you're never going to be 100%, okay? Over 328 weeks and 18,300 individual, over 300, 18,300 plus. I think we're almost at 18,400. Our best work at 20% on average gets stopped out. That's because the market doesn't always do the next high probability thing. Sometimes it takes you by surprise. So if you're chasing the Holy Grail, trying to find some way where you never get stopped out again, you're wasting time, you're wasting treasure when you should be learning how to trade. But in order to learn how to trade, you got to first learn how to read a chart so that you know where to expect support, where to expect resistance, and find in between the windows of opportunity. So the fact that you can also trade them because they're issued way ahead of them triggering, that's a bonus. The real purpose is so that you learn how to read the chart. Now, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. because futures trade around the clock and we have traders around the globe. So it could be 2 a.m., 2 p.m. Their day session is our night session and vice versa. Our original alert service, which is much older than the logic alerts, twice as old probably, are called the concierge trade alerts. They're different. If you're a member or trial member, you need to read this information, and if you don't understand any of it, ask so that we can give you an answer. Okay, this is important. But last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, that's when the Wednesday session began for futures traders. Right at the open, all of our members had every one of these targets. The ES, the Dow. The ES is the S&P, the Dow, the Russell. Crude oil, the NASDAQ, NQ. Gold, silver, and bonds. So as we go to the charts, just remember that all members and trial members had these numbers right at the open. Okay? All right. So now we can go to the charts. And we'll start where we always do with the daily chart of the S&P. Now, I was anticipating, and I said this yesterday, I was anticipating a move down to the 50% fib extension. But as we approached this low, remember I said that we have to take out the low of this day, November 12th, so that we could make our way down to the 50% fib extension. So we expected potential support there. And buyers came in on cue. Now we dropped initially. But look what's happening. We're challenging yesterday's high. And right here, this is the all-time historic high. 60.53 and a quarter. But, and remember this, a few days from now, a week from now, the black step line, it's starting to hook right. When the step line crosses blue and climbing, that typically means that price is going to retrace back to the daily BBC, which is right at the 38% fib extension right now. Now, you got to embrace all possibilities. I mean, the market could take off like a rocket, and take out the all-time historic high. But when I see that step line leaning to the right, tells me, in fact, yesterday's high was 36.5. Today's high is 33.5. Now, if we take out yesterday's high, then there's nothing in the way of us reaching that all-time historic high. But should we end up closing the session near the lows, then that step line is going to cross blue and climbing, and we are going to head back to the BBC. Now, BBC, the green line, just stands for bull-bear cross. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices, lower prices, higher prices. Now, when price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. So when price pulls back to the BBC from below, we expect it to hold until proven otherwise. And when we pull from above, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Like here, 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 here. But we also know that eventually price will trade through. That keeps the markets fluid and tradable. So, after this last drop, this was the rally after, this was election day, right? The 5th. Is that right? Yeah. And then the big day, following day. But then we got smaller and smaller. And then the day we put in the all-time historic high, it turned into a doji. Now yesterday we had a red candle all the way down, but we closed well off the low of the session. And today we're only 3 points away from the high of yesterday. Now we're looking at a daily chart because I want you to make this a part of your daily plan. Whatever you trade, whether it's futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, spend 2 minutes with the daily chart before you drop to your smaller time frames and start trading. Why? Institutional traders, the ones who actually move price because of their account size and the size they trade in, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts. The way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Again, it has everything to do with account size. So if you'll just spend that 2 minutes with the daily chart before you start trading, you're getting a free look over the shoulder of the deep pockets that move price. And honestly, all you got to do is do what the deep pockets are doing long enough to get your goal for the day, and then have the discipline to put the mouse away. Now, today it was an interesting session because, of course, we had a red candle, which then turned into a green candle. Now we've backed off the high of the day. So, see that thing shrinking? Okay. That's the institutional traders at work. Now, not only are you looking over the shoulder of the deep pockets that move price, but you're able to identify major areas of resistance and support. Blue and climbing's right at the 50, then down at the 38, we've got the daily BBC, and right below that, we've got a bullish cross. That's when the blue line gets above the green line. The first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support. The opposite is true of a bearish cross. Okay, so try it for a month and see if it doesn't change your overall results. Because when you go down to your smaller time frames, be it a 30-minute, a tick chart, a range chart, okay, you can't identify can't see a lot of this stuff. So multiple time frames are very important if you want to seriously become a consistently profitable trader. You got to learn how to read a chart, and you got to learn how to use and think in multiple time frames. Okay? See, buyers, they haven't thrown in the towel. Still got a high at 33.5, and yesterday was 36.5. So all alerts are created off the 30-minute chart. Nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose many years ago. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. Now, the weekly trading zones, those are these lines. They're published every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. We've published the zones since December 14th of 2009. So this December is going to make 15 years. And when price drops to a zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. Support will always send the market looking for resistance. Remember, the pullback holds more often than not. Resistance sends the market to support, back to resistance, back to support, back to resistance. You get the idea. See, on Monday, this low right here was this low yesterday. Okay. Sometimes you'll spike a zone and it pops right back up. And then you get resistance, which leads to support, which leads to resistance, to support, to resistance, to support. Now we're looking for resistance. Could come at the high of the previous 30-minute candle. If we break that, now that high right there, look at the horizontal line on my cursor. It's that high right there from yesterday. If price right now can break that, then that's your next resistance. And after that, this high right here. And then there's bearish cross. So this will be real important if price can break above this previous high. So the vertical lines that you see on the chart separate today, Wednesday, from Tuesday, and back here is Monday. This was the open last night, the opening candle, 6 p.m. Eastern. And remember, these targets that you see, all of our members and trial members had them right at the open. We opened below the BBC, below blue and climbing, which means it's on its way to becoming red and falling. And so, I mean, this candle here opened last night at 60.12 and a quarter, and it dropped to 60.04. So there was 8 points in that candle. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. There was 8 points right there. So we came down. Price doesn't travel in a straight line. You get a leg, you get a retracement, you get a leg. So we hit the short target. We overshot, but look at this candle, and this candle. They're still touching the zone. So we spiked it, but the support held. Then we got above the BBC, and we barely took out this previous high overnight. See those wicks sticking up right there? Okay. You should be expecting resistance there, and that's what you got. Which sent us down to the target and the zone, support. Support sends the market looking for resistance, which it found at the long target. That resistance sent us back to support at the short target and the zone. And that support has now sent us all the way back up here, trying to close in on yesterday's high. And then this is the all-time historic high, 60.53 and a quarter. So hopefully you can see the importance of having these targets. They don't always come out right at the open, but I try to get them out by at the latest 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes, life happens and they come out later, but I try to get them out as early as I can, at or short or after, shortly after the Globex session begins. Let's go to the Dow. This was the opening candle last night. We dropped to the target, continued down to the zone that was published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Support sends us to resistance. Resistance sends us back to the zone. Support sends us to resistance at the zone. Now, when price encounters a weekly zone, 70% of the time you're going to have consolidation. Like this, like this, like this. 20% of the time you'll get rejection. 10% of the time you'll get the slice. Okay, that's when price slices through the zone on the 30-minute chart like it's not even there. Now we came real close to the long target. We made it up to 44,280. The target's at 44,290. If buyers keep hitting the offer, the institutional buyers, we should see that target. Although, look at the step line. It's leaning to the right. And if it crosses blue and climbing, then the party's over for right now, because we'll then see most likely a retracement back to, and this is support times 2. Remember, the pullback to the BBC holds more often than not, and when price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. So if price starts dropping, there's 2 reasons for the market to find support here. Okay. Now, if we push through the target and push through the zone, right here you got a bearish cross. Okay. 44,367. See where the red line got below the green line? When a bearish cross leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good resistance. The opposite is true of a bullish cross. Okay. On the Russell, here's where we opened last night, dropped right to the target, consolidated at the zone, got a leg, got a retracement, the zone held, and then we had this candle here at 8:30 when the news came out this morning, and we almost made it to the zone. We got to 2435.6. The zone's at 2437/38. But we did indeed hit the target. Resistance sends the market looking for support. See the pullback right there? It held. Sent price back up, back down. So far the pullback's holding. When the step line crossed blue and climbing, that was an indication price was headed back to the BBC. Now we expect that to be support till proven otherwise. NQ. Here's the open last night. We opened right at a weekly zone, but we were below the BBC and we had red and falling, so that took us right down to the short target. Support sends us looking for resistance. Okay. See right here? Back to support at the target. Resistance at the zone. Support at the zone. And now what are we doing? We're consolidating here at the zone. All right, we still got a couple of markets to get to, but Michael's here. So when I come back, we'll do crude, gold, and silver and wrap things up with the good word for the day. But right now, Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. Then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes. And I'll be back.
All right.
Looks good.
I don't know. Good. There you go. I don't know what I did to my browser and everything else at the end of the session this morning, but somehow I don't have all my stuff up here at the top.
Uh-oh.
I don't have any any of the menu items up there at the top. Oh, there they are. Hey, look, there they are. I just had to wait.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh.
I wasn't patient enough. Okay, so everything
Have you possibly hit F11?
that is quite possible.
Okay.
Would hitting it again make it go back, or F12?
Yep. No, just if you hit F11 again, it should go back to the way
there
it was.
There
it is.
Genius. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right.
Let me hit save over here then. I did something wrong with this too. All my stuff isn't up there either. Maybe I got to hit F11 again. Nope. Anyway, let's just go back here. I'll take the win. All right. Thank you for that. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 13th day of November. Is it really the 13th day of November? I was thinking it was the 12th day. I don't know. Well, it's the 13th day of November, 2024. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There is no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button, and it's going to bring you to this registration page, where all the way ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. Down at the bottom, if you have Ninja, give us your machine ID. Dwayne. If you have Ninja, give us your machine ID. If you have TradingView, give us your login ID. All right. You really want to get the TradingView login ID. Okay. You really want to get that because we have things in TradingView that we don't have anywhere else. If you don't know how to get TradingView, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on Trading Platforms, and follow the instructions right here for TradingView. Now, some of you may know that this platform right here, DT Pro, is going to be going away. We're going to be replacing it with possibly 2 other platforms, because I'm choosing Sierra charts right now. So far, that's what I'm leaning toward. And we're also going to have the CQG trader in there. It's going to be called StoneX Trader or something like that, but it's going to be what the CQG looks like. So we'll have more instructions in here as we move forward with all that development. We do have, it's going to be done in less than a month. So we'll be we'll put more information in here as we go forward, right, in the trading platform page. But the TradingView stuff, that's solid. You can keep going with the TradingView. We're not going to change that. Well, actually, I might change the video because the video is, let's see, it was ESH23, so it's almost a year old. I'll be making a new one, probably with ESH25. So that is at least a year old. It's almost 2 years old. So, yeah, there's all that. Now, let's get into the trades that we did and didn't do, and all of that business. Today, as I said, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 13th day of November, 2024. We're up 40 ticks on the NQ, 8 ticks on the Russell, none on the YM, and 30 on the ES. So the YM has been, I figured we were pretty close to break even on the YM on the month. Look, the ES and the ES and the NQ are the only ones we're making money on this month. That's kind of weird. Yeah, well, anyway, it is what it is. I'm gonna have to go and look at other things and see. I might replace the YM as we continue to move forward here because, well, that was last month, but this is this month. The YM's not doing so well right now. I may replace it with something else. We'll see as we move forward. Anyway, we made 40 ticks on the NQ. We made 8 ticks on the Russell, none on the YM, 30 on the S. That put us at 615 on the morning session. Okay. We had our lesson plan today I think it was a pretty good lesson plan. It got toward the end of it, we had a little hiccup where I hit the wrong, I hit like a page up or something like that, and it flipped me to another contract, and I didn't realize what it had done. And it took me a little while to get it all together, but I was able to pull it all back together. I think it was a good lesson plan today. If you guys want to see the lesson plan about leg lengths and the TV trades range trigger, I think I tied it all together pretty well today. And I can put it out somewhere in one of our, and we do lesson three. I can stick it out somewhere where you guys can access it if you want to. Anyway, so we were plus 615 on the morning session. I just saw this 30 here, and half of that was one of those trades that I did during the lesson plan. That's what made me think of it. We're plus 615 with one contract on the morning session. Today it took 13 minutes and one trade to get to the goal of the day. That was an NQ trade. It was 48 ticks, and a few of the guys got it with me. They got the same exact trade with me and got the 48 ticks, and everybody was happy. It took us only 10 trades this morning. So on a month now, we're at $3,615. Remember, yesterday we were exactly at $3,000. So with 9 business days, averaging $401 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year now, we are at on the year now, we're at $103,985, averaging $488 per contract per 2-hour session. If you were to add 1 contract per month following the 24/20 blueprint, getting your goal every day, and if you quit trading when you get your goal every day, and you add 1 contract per month, so far this year, you would have made, doing it just like I did in the room anyway, you'd have been up $184,448. That's gross, $184,448. And you would have averaged $2,957 per hour in that time. You would have only had to work 62.36 hours. And yeah, that's not bad. Average $2,900 an hour. Now I'm thinking of putting another column in here, right in here. I don't know if I have any calculations going on over here. I don't think I do. Yeah, see if I put another column in here. I do insert 1 column left. And in here, do the number of trades. Okay, this is the total number of trades taken in the room. So 412. 412 is the total number of trades taken in the room. Is that it? No, I want to do this number right here. It's 76. 76 be this number. Be equals this times this. Right, we're in the wrong month right here, but that would be the formula. Okay, well, that does throw something else off. Okay, well, that would be the formula right there. I just want that to be a number. 760 contracts were traded in that month. So what I was trying to do is get to a total number of contracts traded, given the number of contracts that we were trading at that time in the month. Like this one, it would be 113 contracts traded, and this one would be 234 contracts traded, and this one would be 294 contracts traded, and this one would be whatever, 488 contracts traded. You see, just that number times the number of contracts we're using. I'm sorry, I just got all this math going through my head all at once right now. Sorry, back down here. Following the 24/20 blueprint, you would have averaged $2,957 so far on the year. All right, now let's get into the trades. Sorry, I just went down a rabbit hole there that I didn't need to go down. And I didn't get into this stuff this morning like I wanted to either. Wow, this looks, well, it looks like it was pretty tradable there on the YM. We only had the 1 trade here on the YM this morning. It was right here. It was a break-even trade. It's not to say that was the only trade that was there, but you can see there was right here at the open. It was all sideways and choppy for a little while. Looks like there was a trade right here that I missed on the YM, and a trade right here going the other way that I missed on the YM. A trade right here that I did get, and then I got into the lesson plan. I wasn't really looking at it anymore. And it's good because there weren't any more trades. There's this one during the break, and that's it. So the YM wasn't giving up all that much today. Okay, not much at all. The Russell, we had only 1 trade on the Russell too. Right there, we had 8 ticks profit on that 1 trade, and that was captured in a video. I was doing that one in the S trade at the same time. I think might have been an NQ trade. Anyway, we got that one right there for 8 ticks. Let's see, did I miss anything else? In here, these arrows right here don't mean anything. I was just illustrating something with the trading view DOM. This right here looks like it would have been back over here. This would have been the trade right here that came out of the oversold. This one didn't actually come out of the oversold. Did we have overall lines? Yeah, you could have taken that one right there. You could have also taken this one right here. Now, those are kind of weird the way they came together, but they stayed oversold a little extra. You could have taken that one for a profit. This one here that we did take for a profit. Then it had this big move down and a big move back up. and it didn't give us any trades all through here. We went into the weekly trading zone. We had nothing. I was doing a lesson plan all through that. And then we ended the morning session right over here. Right here, we ended the morning session. No trades to be taken in there until all the way over here, until just now, well, just a few minutes ago, 12:47. Right here was a trade. And that's still working itself out. And this is on a 19 range. Huh. All right, the ES, we had a few trades on the ES this morning. All of them were positive trades, except for that break even right there. The very first trade was right here. We got 4 ticks in profit on that one. Then we had 6 ticks in profit on that one. I think, yeah, 6 to get us to 10. Then we had a break even and 4 ticks profit on that one. Yeah, 4 ticks profit on that one, and that got us up to 14. And then this is the one that we did during the lesson plan right here. And I wrote that down during the lesson plan. It was at 10:36 during the lesson plan, because that was the perfect trade setup, and we saw it all come together, and I was able to put it all together and manage the trade that I would in the actual video portion of it. But it was right here. We got 16 ticks on that one, and I know some of the guys got that one with me. Then we had to get out of this chop, and we talked about it, and we eventually got out of it. Once we got out, the first trigger once we got out was actually right here. This would have been the first one. I put in a higher swing. This would have been the second one right here. That was enough to get the stop to break even. You wouldn't have done that one because there's no higher swing. This would have been a third one right here going into the zone, but it was a third one right there if you wanted to do it at the end of the session. I did point that out, but I wasn't going to do it going into the zone like it was. And during the break, there was, you had to get out of that weekly trading zone. Once you get out of the zone, you get all the way over here. There was a trade right there. Spun around, the ribbon got really flat, and there's a trade right now, right here. Now this one from 31.75 has already gone up to 33.25. So it's already gone 6 ticks into profit. So you can't get into that one now. But we ended up with plus 30 on the ES this morning. Okay, plus 30. And on the NQ now, on the NQ, let's go all the way back here. All right, so our very first trade of the day was this one right here on the NQ. That's where we got the call today, plus 48 ticks. Then right after it, I made this mistake right here. We didn't have all 4 lines in the ribbon. I don't know why I even did that, but I stopped out minus 36. And then we got a little bit more back over here. We went from 48 down to 12, and then right here we got 16 ticks right here. We went up to 28. Then we had a break even, and then we got 4 more ticks there. No, 12 more ticks there to get us to 40. And I believe that was all we did. That is it. The NQ was really all over the place today as far as the trading. You had just a couple of decent trends. We got the beginning of that trend right there. There was a trade in here that we missed right there. All right, this had to put in a lower swing, and this was the trade that we missed right there. This one here we took. This one here we took. We got a little bit of profit. I don't feel like I missed a whole bunch here on the NQ today, even though I was doing the lesson plan for a good portion of it. I really don't see a lot of trades that we missed. This one right here, put in a higher swing, so you could have done that one right there for the next level up. So there's a couple right there. This one right here didn't put in a higher swing, but it gave enough to get the stop to break even, get a little profit. Then nothing else in that direction. This right here was going up into the zone. I would have skipped this right here. This is during the break now. Gave a decent short right there. Then once you get up above the zone over here, there's a decent trade right there, followed by another one right there. Okay, so it had some opportunity here during the break, but it was kind of tough trading during the morning session. Okay, and that is all of that. Now, then I go here. If you have not taken a free trial with us, if you're just signing in on YouTube right now and you haven't taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button. There is no credit card required for this trial. Click on that purple button. It's going to bring you to this registration page where all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom here, if you have TradingView, give us your login ID. If you have NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. If you want to use Ninja Charts. If you don't use Ninja Charts, we don't need that machine ID. Okay, you don't need to bother with that. If you just use Ninja to trade, that's fine. But we do recommend you get TradingView if you're going to use our charts. Okay, because TradingView is the only one that's got this guy down here. It's the only one with that. All right, Now, as we move forward, I may try to get that put on, not on Sierra charts, but I may try to get it put on the CQG charts. I'll try to get the ribbon and that put on CQG charts so that you guys can have it all in one place, possibly. We'll see about that going forward. All right, I'm not so sure about that. I'm gonna see how this little CQG thing works out. Anyway, they're having troubles with it out here. So yeah, that's it. Now we can get into the trading. I'm gonna move all this down, and so I was able to put together these Sierra DOMs for these three markets. Now I haven't used the NQ one yet. Here's the ES, and there's the NQ. All right. So what would you be looking for right now is an up close on this NQ. It's got a low here, 17.25. So you'd be buying 8 above that. That would be 25.25 right there. Right there. There it is. Okay, so it's the low here is 17 now. So you'd be buying just 25 like that. Okay. I'm still learning how to use this. Let me go in here, click that, and undo that. Okay, so now it's getting up a little closer. Oh, I should have been in already. So I'm just going to throw an order on right there and cancel that one. And so I believe we are in. Yeah, we are in right now. You can see we're up. We actually have 2 of them right now. So I am going to move my stop, I think. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing here. Oh no, I'm in up here. All right, so I messed it up somehow, and I got in way up here. So I'm actually about to stop out, is what it looks like. That is my stop right there. As I said, I'm still learning how to do this. In the meantime, with the DT Pro, we have a long triggering right in here, and the DT Pro, I'm in at the right place and throwing my stop at break even on that one. And now you can see this one is moving back up to the entry point. With the GT Pro, I am just about minute 23.50 on that, and I have 5 points locked in. So that's 20 ticks right there locked in, and I'm flat with 20 ticks profit on the DT Pro. The Sierra chart thing, I'm still working, still figuring out how to use it, as you can see. And I only have 1 contract in here. I really messed that one up. I should have been in here at 22.50, and somehow I got in way up here at 231.25. Or am I even in there? I think I am. Yeah, because this is saying right here it's going up and down, up and down. All right, so I'll move that over to the side. We got 20 ticks profit on this. This was a trade off of, actually that wasn't even a valid trade, but we got 20 ticks profit on that. The reason it wasn't a valid trade is because we had a trigger right here and right here, and neither one of those put in a higher swing. Okay, but this should stop me out pretty soon, I think. Oh, it did stop me out. Okay, it did stop me out. All right, clearly I have to learn how to use this thing. Let's do cancel all. But I didn't cancel there. Still working on it. The ES would be easier to do, I think, because it doesn't move as fast. So maybe I'll work with the ES one. If we get an ES trade coming up in here, right now, I don't know how to pin this on top. I don't know. Is there a way in here to do? Here it is, always on top. That's how you do it. Okay, so on the ES right here, if we spread it out, you only have 3 lines visible in the ribbon right there. So we can't really do anything with that. Okay, I'm gonna slide the ES one back over here. And let's see if I click on M, I go there. Okay, that's the ES. And now if I do the same thing with the NQ, click on M, go there. Okay, and now this one, click on go there. Okay. That was getting rid of the order confirmations. All right, so on the Russell right here, we actually have a trade triggering right here on the Russell, so we can go right here, and that's not an actual order. If I right-click right here, there it is. Okay, so we should be in the Russell right now, and we are in the Russell. Okay, and we're expecting it to get down here to the prior swing low. Now, the reason I entered there is because we had, it's actually not even a valid trade. Crap. This thing is really messing me up. Let's go all the way down here and lock in 2 ticks. Okay. We do have a 45 tick profit target on this, but I have 4 ticks locked in right there, and it seems like it should have taken me out right there, but it didn't. But I gotta let the learn. Right click and do flatten and cancel. All right. That one, Michael, is Sierra chart. Sierra chart. All right. The thing that I like about it is that it's like one mouse click. It's a lot the same as what I was trying to show you is it's a lot the same as the DT Pro one. You know, you can set up your bracket ahead of time. Like if I right mouse click up there, it sets up my bracket with a 25 tick stop and a 45 tick target. Okay. And it's like the same thing. If I right click there, it sets up my bracket with a 25 tick stop and a 45 tick target. It's just one mouse click to put it on, one mouse click to take it off. Actually, yeah, it's one mouse click to take it off, left mouse click to take it off. Why am I looking at a new platform? Because DT Pro is going away in less than a month. I'm looking at this one for ease of use, yes. I've looked at probably a dozen different platforms to find one that suits me the best, and this is the closest one to what I do right now. The way that it works, you know, DOM-wise, and the DOM's really all I care about. You know, I'm charting with TradingView. I'm not charting with any other platform. So all I need to do is find a platform that has a DOM that I can move around with individual windows like this. Oops, with individual windows like this, like I always do. And and this is the only one where I can do that and has all like the one click stuff. One click entries, and a right click on this, you see all these things right here. That is the same as having, hang on, I'm gonna bring all my DOMs just disappeared a second ago too. All my regular DOMs. Get there. That is the same as having all of these buttons up here. That's the right mouse click right here. All that stuff is right here. It's right mouse click here, and then you just click on one of those. It's the same as clicking on one of those buttons. Okay, that's why I'm using it. It costs $36 a month to use it right now. At some point, I think they're probably going to make it free for StoneX guys, but but it's through StoneX, and it costs $36 a month, and then you got to pay for the data. You got to pay the exchange fees again for the data. So, you know, I have to pay it twice right now because I'm paying it for the DT Pro. And to use this right now, just to practice with it, I had to buy the data. So it's $12.50 a month for the CME data. That's why I don't have a YM DOM, because I don't have the CME data. I mean, I only have CME data running. So I could bring up another DOM that's on the CME. I have the ES, the NQ, and the Russell DOMs going. And if I want to go to a new DOM, I just got to go there and open trading DOM, and anything on the CME I can bring up. Like I can bring up all the micros that we normally work with. I can bring up all the currencies. You know, if I want to do like a 6E, open trading DOM, and here's the trading DOM, and then I go undo that, and here is the 6E. Okay, if I want to trade the euro. So what about the margins? Oh, it's still through StoneX. So the margins are the same because it's through StoneX, Steven. It's using, it connects to gain. The connection that you make is to gain. Let me see if I can bring that up. Data, trade service settings. So that's not it right there. I can't find it right now, but it actually connects to gain. And so it's using the same broker, is still clearing through the same FCM. So using the same margins that StoneX has, and the same commissions too, as far as I know. Okay, and their margins are actually getting lower. They're getting reduced. So if I bring this over here, I want to see something else right now. The RTY, what was that one? Is there, let me find my RTY DOM. Now, as I keep learning stuff about this, I figured I'd give myself a week and a half to learn this pretty well and practice with this, and then I'm going to learn the CQG one, because that's what, the default one, the default replacement for DT Pro for StoneX is the CQG. And I know a lot of you guys are going to use that because it's free. And it's going to be a rough transition to go from your DT Pro DOMs to that thing, but I'll try to learn that too, so I can help you with that. And then all the commissions with the CQG, the commissions and the margins will all be the same, and they should be the same with this. There might be some fee on top of this, but I don't think so, because I'm paying a monthly fee to use Sierra charts, so they should not get another chunk of the commissions. It should be just a flat rate that I'm paying for it, and it's only $36, so it's not it's not a huge fee. For those of us that have been around a while and paid the old TradeStation fees back in the day, I was paying $500 a month for charts and data. Those are rough times.
that was insanity.
It was, and then we realized, hey, if we become certified TradeStation developers, we don't have to pay for it. We don't have to pay for charts. We just have to pay for data. And that knocked off about $250 a month for a while there.
Yep.
But we still were paying the other $250 for the data. Mm-hmm. That was a long time ago. Long time ago. Seems like a whole other lifetime. Anyway, now the question, for those of you guys who don't know, the question from Stephen was, what about the margins? Okay. So this is the Russell, and you can see the Russell's keeping up right here with the Russell. And if I want to place a trade up here, it's just a right click. It's like a right click, a normal buy stop limit order is what it is. Okay, and I can move it around. And if it were to get filled, it would have the fill information in there. And if it's in the money, it's going to be green. If it's out of the money, if you're losing money, it's going to be red. But I still have a lot to learn about this. Like over here, you can see you get like depth of market, continuous depth of market with this. It just goes on and on and on. You can see the further out you go, the less depth there is in there, the less meaningful it is. And it's the stuff that's really close to the money that, that we really care about normally anyway. And with the Russell right now, you'd be looking at this number right here. That's one that would be getting my attention, that one and that one right there. But we're on the short side, so I'd be looking down for numbers right now. And that one right there. What's that?
And then below that, you got 43. Oh,
40. Yep. As you go down, you got more and more right down here at the swing. At the target down there, or at the stop, actually. No, that's the target. No, that's the stop. That's right. This is the stop. This was a long trade. If I'd done it the other way, like this, then you would be looking down here. You got 103 way down here, but you don't really have to worry about that. You got to get through all this stuff first. So the benefit to having this is you can look at this and say, okay, well, this is the swing low right here, 2408.8. Is there anything there at 2408.8? 2408.8 right there, 20. It's got a couple of things on the way down there to drag price down there, but 2408.7 right there. You have more information, more useful information that you can use with all this. Now I'm going to right click and do cancel all. I think we just got filled. We did just get filled. See, right now it's doing the stop in minus 0.4 points is what it is. That is a setting too. You can change it so it does dollars, cents, or ticks, same as everything else. I don't know where to actually set that, but I know it's a setting that I did set at one point. Okay, but this is one way to go. as we move forward. This is going to be one way to go. All right. Now, I clearly have to get much better at this before I start trading a whole bunch of contracts with it. And this was not a valid trade here that I'm in. Right, I'm just going to hit cancel all, flat and cancel. But this is what the Sierra DOM looks like. And I can make it a little prettier and make it a little more like the other DOM, where I have all the colors the same and all that stuff. You can do a lot with the colors in this thing. But we'll see as we go forward. I'll keep learning, and I'll keep you guys informed as I do learn more about it all. Right now I'm still trying to get the functionality of it all down. I'll worry about the aesthetic values later. Right now on the YM we have 228. You'd be selling 208 on that, on the YM right now. Now this is not a really strong trend right here on the YM, but it is a valid trade setup. Okay, it's actually a pullback and a bigger leg up. But it is a valid trade setup if it were to trigger. It hasn't triggered yet. Okay. Now, let's see. We need to get into the overbought here on the Russell. We're not there yet. We don't have any trades here. We don't have any trades here. Wow, my half hour is almost up.
Ron B. In YouTube, my broker is transitioning to CQG web-based. What do you recommend about this? This is what we're talking about right now, Ron.
Yep, that's what we're talking about.
StoneX has bought up all of the small boutique firms, all the introducing brokers, and so their platform of choice is CQG. But you can use, there are some other platforms you'll be able to use too, but you won't be able to use DT Pro.
Ron, let me open up the YouTube thing here so I can see what he is typing in. Yeah, I have another meeting coming up, but I think it's
the question from Pucker too.
Yeah. Here we go. There you go. Okay, so Ron. Okay, yeah, your broker. Yeah, it is. You had I forgot the name of it, but I remember Ron.
What platform are you using now, Ron?
He's got, it's not Cannon Capital, it's the other one that's like Cannon Capital. But Ron is one of our guys, and I know what platform he has. Gosh, I used to know the owner of that place.
Zayner 360.
Zayner, that's right, Matt Zayner. I used to know Matt Zayner. Zayner 360, yeah. So you get the same thing right now. This is what your DOM looks like when you got a trade on. And so you have the same thing going on. All right. So I don't have a YM DOM to show you, but if you Sierra charts, it's a little clunky getting it going, but once you get it going, it's the most like this DOM. If you're really worried about the DOM, Ron, now I don't know if that's the thing that you're most worried about. I don't know if that's the thing that that you're most worried about, but if the DOM is the thing that you want to get the closest, then Sierra charts is the closest thing that I found, and I've gone through all the things that StoneX has. StoneX has like 20, 25 different third-party platforms, and their StoneX Trader is going to be their in-house platform, and that's their white label version of CQG is what they have. So I'll learn how to do that too, but it's definitely not going to be like this. It's not going to have a DOM that's like this or anything like this. This one is a lot like this. This actually has some features that this one doesn't have. So it could be a good thing that I'm switching to the Sierra DOM, because it does have features that this one doesn't have. Now I just don't know how well everything works, but we'll figure all that out as we move forward. I don't know the fills, how good the fills are, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know exactly how to manipulate the stops and things like I normally do. Like
I'm
right
sure
now,
there's
if I put
plenty of
that on,
tutorial videos out there on
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, there are. There are. I already found some. They go from start to finish about all the stuff. But this is how you move the orders around. And you just drag it around like you would on any other thing over here. And if this is the Russell, and the Russell's looking like it's going to be a short, if anything. So I'll see if we get a trade set up here on the Russell. I don't know if we're going to. If this bar closes up, then we'll be in a position to have a trade set up on the Russell. All right, and then I'll see if I can put one on. The YM, we're looking for that to close. I mean, for this bar here to close down and then push down to the swing low. So this is
You don't have a lower low on the Russell.
This is the lower low right here. From the last push down out of the overbought was right here, and this is the lower low from that one. So it pulled back up, and this is getting into the overbought right here. This is the lower low you're working with right here. It's from the last time it came out of the overbought. This is the lower low. It never went back into the overbought until right now. So this is what you're working with now. And so we have a high here right now of 13.4, 13.5. So you would be selling 11.5 down here, like that. All right, on the Russell, 13.3, I guess, whatever the high is right there. The high is 13.4. All right, go find the DOM again. Hold on. And I got to do that window always on top thing. All right, so this is actually 11.4. Yeah, and this my YM trade that I do actually have on here with a whole bunch of contracts I should pay attention to. Here we go. That has not gone into profit yet, so the stop is 26 ticks away. I'll make that 25 ticks away. And all right, so the Russell trade, which hasn't triggered yet, is right here. I just did it again. The Russell trade, which hasn't triggered yet, still got a high. Now it's got a high in the same place. I'm going to go get my YM DOM again, though. Hold it. Here it is. Let me hit that. All right. There. Now, we potentially have both of these trades going here. It's 133. I do have another meeting coming up, but I still kind of want to see this through. Xena 360, that's right. Yeah, look at CQG. I'm going to use Sierra for some data, tick, and charting. Okay, well, if you already use Sierra, if you're already paying for the data, that's half the cost over there. It's 36. You got to get the, was it something number 10 is the inner. When does DT go away? December 10th, I think. But in the Sierra charts, there's one version of Sierra. You can't get the most recent version of Sierra. All right, that was a mistake that I made. I just went out and downloaded the most recent version, and that is not the one that you need to use. You need to use version 2417, I'm pretty sure. Let me go find out exactly for you. Okay. The Russell trade's about to trigger here now. It's in the right place. Here it is, the integration package 2416. Here is the information right here. Okay. 2416 or earlier must be used. So that's the version of Sierra chart that you have to download. All right, new versions do not support it. So you're going to use that. And the reason is because they removed gain capital for the trading service. You can use gain capital on the older versions, and that's how you're using the same, Stephen, that's how I'm getting the same commissions and the same margins by using the gain capital as the FCM. All right, we got triggered into this over here. Yeah, so these are the instructions here. You got to use that, and there's a bunch of things here. I can send this to anybody that wants it. If you guys are interested in doing the Sierra charts, you just got to send me an email. Just put Sierra chart in the header, okay? And I'll send you this. there are a bunch of things here that I didn't really want you see the automated, the stop, the trailing stop. It just didn't, it trailed it, but it's trailing it tick by tick. I got to work that out. But I'm just going to bring it to break even. So now my stop is at break even on the Russell trade, that is. And on the YM trade, I'm going to bring that stop to break even. I'm actually going to lock in some profit on the YM trade. I'm going to lock in 10 ticks in profit on the YM trade. Okay, so I'm flat on the YM trade, and now I'm flat at break even on the Russell trade. Okay, so let me just do this and flatten and cancel. All right, so that kind of worked out there. But if you guys want this Sierra chart information, send me an email at support. Okay, Ken, just send me an email so I don't have to do a one-off right here, because I got to shut this off and do the next thing. I got another meeting coming up right now. This worked out over here. The Russell worked out. It's going down. It should get down to the weekly trading zone, and the YM eventually worked out too. All right, so we got 10 ticks on the YM. We end up with a break even on the Russell. But yeah, if you want to do the Sierra thing, this is what the DOM looks like. What I'll do is when I get everything done right, there's a thing that they have. I'll show you. Hang on. Whoa, that's not what I meant to show you. That was on the other monitor anyway. But there's a thing that they have in here. They do things called chart books. Okay, chart books in here. Let me try to bring that thing all the way over so you can see it. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. They do a thing called chart books. All right, and I would save a chart book and I can give you the chart book. It's like giving you a layout with TradingView or giving you a workspace with DT Pro. That's how you do it, right? They do it in chart books. And I'll go through all this stuff. And once I know more about it, I'll be able to go through all of this stuff with you guys and help you learn it. Like the whole data services thing, that's got me puzzled right now, because I have it set up connected to a live account and it shows it's on the SIM account. And then when I go to the SIM account, it shows it doesn't connect at all. And so I got to figure out how that works. I'm not exactly sure how it's all working. But once I figure it out, I'll let you guys know. All right. So as far as this session went, we got to have a trade here on the Russell. That was a valid trade right there that we took on the Russell. And this was a valid trade over here on the YM that we took. The YM was profitable. The Russell was a break even. We didn't have any trades on any of the other ones, I don't think. Right. So if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, now the charting package is going to stay the same. We're always going to be charting right here. This stuff is not changing. It's just what I use for a broker that's changing, who I use for a broker. If you already have your broker, you don't need to change. You can keep, you can just trade. This is what Dwayne was talking about, just trading through StoneX. He said this morning. And if you wanted to do that, you can use the DOM that they have in here. If you do Shift D, all right, I'm not logged into their paper account, but if I were logged into their paper account, I don't know how to get to it right now. If I were logged into their paper account, then I'd be able to show you how to use their DOM. If you're using, I'll do that tomorrow, right? If you're using their DOM and you're doing larger time frame things where you don't have to put trades on really quickly like this or like this, then you can just trade through their thing. It's fine. And you can avoid the whole CQG thing as well. But trading on the TradingView charts is pretty easy to do. It's really easy to do, actually, trading on the TradingView charts. So that's always an alternative. I hate that this is going away. I've been using it for over a decade. And so, I don't like change. So I'm making the change as minimal as possible for me. Getting this to be like this is what I'm trying to do.
We've been using it since 2008.
Yeah, I know. It's been a long time. And to have that forced onto us kind of sucks. But that's why I've been going through all these other platforms, and literally I've opened accounts at like 5 other places, and I've just to use their platform, I had to open an account and funded it. And not with a lot of money, but funded it some, just so I could use their stuff and try it out. And Sierra Charts is the one that I like the most so far. I got to see it in real action with multiple contracts and stuff like that. I haven't done that yet, but that is that. All right, I have gone way over. I'm 10 over, and I got another meeting coming up. So I'm going to wrap this up and say, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go ahead to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. It's going to bring you to this registration page. All you have to do is your name, your email, your phone number. Down at the bottom, it gives you TradingView login ID so we can set up your charts. Okay. All right. That is it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio Way overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready, and you are ready.
Yep. Recap of the morning session.
Today, it took 13 minutes and one trade to get to $2,640.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys. We're going to pick up where we left off. This is where crude opened last night. Consolidated along the BBC. Then it ran right up to the long target. And it hit the zone. These are the zones that were published Tuesday morning, or Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. When the market finds resistance, it's going to go look for support. And if you go over here, you'll find out why the market started dropping. Support will then send price back to resistance. And 70% of the time, when price hits a zone, you're going to have consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. Here's gold. Here's where we opened on gold last night. We had blue and climbing. We were below the BBC, but we had blue and climbing. So we're expecting price to get above the BBC. And it made it almost up to the target. It made it to this high right here from yesterday. So we had a leg, retracement. Then we hit the zone. Pull back to the BBC. The pullback held, as it does more often than not. Back up to the zone, resistance. And then down we go to the short target, support. The support is right here, which bounces up to the BBC in red and falling, resistance, and that sends us back down here to support. And again, if you go way over here, you'll find out why the market stopped dropping. And last, silver. Here's where we opened last night. It's silver right at a weekly zone, but we were above the BBC, so we expect price to move up, and it did. It hit the target, and then it hit the zone. Only takes 2 pennies to get your goal. This little candle right here opened at 3104 and ran up to 3109, which was the target. So that's 5 pennies. 2 pennies is $100. So resistance sends us to support, which sends us to resistance, which sends us to support, which sends us to resistance, which sends us to support. Down here at the short target. Now this low. See this bullish cross yesterday? When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support. And it was. Step line's trying to cross red and falling, so look for a pull up to the BBC and the zone. That's resistance times 2, and then you should get another leg to the downside. Did we ever take out 60.35 1/4? Today's high. Yesterday's high was 60.36 1/2. So we haven't quite taken out yesterday's high. If we take out yesterday's high, then there's no obstacles up to the all-time historic high at 60.53 1/4. Okay. Now, the step line, I'm going to say it one more time. See how it's curving to the right? be on the lookout for a retracement. First, you're going to probably get a bounce here at Blue and Climbing and the 38% extension. And once that bounce is over, then we'll come down to the 38% fib extension and the BBC. That's where I see the market heading. Okay. To become a member, send an email to support@cfrn.net. In the subject line, all you got to do is say, I want to become a member. Valerie will send you the information that you need to become a member. She'll send you information and a link. You can be a partner today. Then we'll begin your educational process and get you squared away. When you become a member, a passport holder, get 2 hours of live training every trading day. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have a teacher. Whatever profession you want to pursue in life, attorney, baker, auto mechanic, you need somebody to teach how to do the job. But it all looks so simple. I don't need a teacher. Well, that's what 9 out of 10 new traders think. Or they can't find a teacher. Oh, they buy courses, indicators, oscillators, algorithms. That is no replacement for a human being taking you by the hand and showing you, 1, how to read the chart, and number 2, how to actually trade. Along with 2 hours of group training every trading day, you get private one-on-one mentoring. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Future stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, it doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again, a never-ending cycle. You will also get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. You get the concierge trade alerts every evening, the second they're published. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you'll get the weekly trading zones. And you'll be able to attend the members-only workshop every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll also get the golden key that unlocks all the private channels we have in Telegram. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Let's wrap it up with our good word for today. Yesterday we talked about sharing our lives. Today we're going to talk about be joyful. Psalm 90:14, that we may sing for joy and be glad all our days. It doesn't help the cause of Christ when his followers go around looking miserable. You say, but I have problems. Guess what? Everybody does. When the Apostle Paul was in prison, he wrote, rejoice in the Lord always. Philippians 4:4. Expressing joy is something you do in spite of your circumstances, not because of them. The Bible says in Isaiah 12:3, with joy you will draw water from the wells of salvation. God has put a well of joy within you, but you have to draw it out and share it with others. Joy is contagious. Happiness travels through relational networks like ripples on a pond. It's so robust. In fact, it can permeate 3 degrees of separation. That means your happiness quotient is more likely to increase when a friend of a friend of a friend becomes happy. We hunger for joy. Satisfy us in the morning, writes the psalmist, but not with more money or power or applause. No, the Psalm 90:14 says, satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy and be glad all our days. Joyful people make us come alive. The Bible says in Nehemiah 8:10, the joy of the Lord is your strength. We love joy, but often we forget how powerful it is. Joy gives us the strength to resist temptation. It gives us the ability to persevere. It's the Velcro that makes relationships stick. It gives us the energy to love. We don't just need air, food, and water. We need joy. And the person who brings it is like an oasis in the desert land. So today, be joyful. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.